Sawadee ka. Suksan one Christmas. Hello everybody, and I'm sorry to bother you. None of us have time for this on Christmas Eve, but this is why I'm going live, so that I could do it quickly. I want to show my solidarity for one of the dissidents who has been kidnapped in a country neighboring Thailand. And I'm saying goodbye to my reporter husband. And to show solidarity with him, I'm wearing the same t-shirt that he was wearing in one of his most recent pictures. So I would like to make the point that this is somebody who is just like you and me. This t-shirt says February 28, 2019, which is the date that dictator Prayut has promised, one of the many dates that he's promised that there will be elections. So this is a person who's in the pro-democracy movement. They were kidnapped, and this was about 2 weeks ago. I just discovered it last night when I was reading some of the posts of some of the dissidents that I follow. And so he was kidnapped along with two associates who are younger than him. He's quite old, in his 70s. And two younger people were kidnapped along with him. Now, I hope that you guys don't get confused with all the other kidnappings I've been complaining about. Another dissident whose name is Sanam Luang was his wife and son, who have nothing to do with his politics, were kidnapped in Thailand. They were returned. We hope the same thing will happen with this dissident, whose name is Ahjarn Surachai. And Ahjarn means teacher, so his name is Surachai. So the reason that we call him Ahjarn is because he gets on social media and lectures about democracy. And I will admit that I have not been following this particular dissident in his lectures about democracy, because you could only listen to so many political broadcasts about a country that's not even your country. However, asking around, I find out that he's an extremely important dissident. So this, if he's gone, and if he has been assassinated, it's not just a murder, it's not just a human rights abuse, it's an assassination to shut down the pro-democracy movement. It's an assassination like if you kill Martin Luther King. All right, I think I'll start. So his name, once again, is Ahjarn Surachai. And I don't think I'll even attempt his long last name, although he has an alternative short last name. Let's see. Surachai Saedaan. And I'm going to read the letter that his wife wrote today. From Ba Noi, wife of Surachai Saedaan, and then his very long name, Dan Watanan Nuson. I feel so worried and concerned about Surachai Saedaan, who has gone silent and disappeared for 2 weeks. I can't contact him. Usually I can contact him on Line. Line is an Asian social media platform. I always watch his videos every Tuesday, and I read his I read his messages online. I fear that danger has befallen him, just like the case of DJ Zunho. DJ Zunho was an underground broadcaster kidnapped from a country neighboring Thailand, and he was almost certainly also murdered in the summer of 2016. Back to her letter. And even now, there is no further progress in finding out what happened. But anyway, Surachai used to say in videos last year that he had a price on his head of 10 million baht, which is $300,000. And so he should be careful not go out and around, and that he should just hide where he is. When I learned the news from reading Line of Kun Dong Adachai from Yami and from many other groups, I became more worried and concerned that he and two other younger people had fallen into danger, even to their lives. I feel so stressed out I can't sleep. I pray and pray and pray, asking to keep them from danger. I keep the hope that after the election we can have democracy, things will improve, and he can finally come home to live peacefully. I implore those who are involved in the disappearance of Surachai and the 2 younger people, please don't harm them to the point of killing them. Just release them. From Ba Noi, the wife of Surachai Saedaan, Dan Watana Anuson. December 24, 2018, at 3:09 p.m. Thailand. Also, I would like to say, for context, that I've got some background on Ahjarn Surachai, if I can find it. I have many open windows here. Way too many open windows. All right, I'm gonna just also say a shout out to my atheist friends. When I complain about these kidnapped dissidents in Thailand, it's very closely related to atheism, because these are people who do not believe the bullshit propaganda. They don't go along with the bullshit propaganda, although it would make their lives a lot easier if they did, because they think that the truth is a lot more important than hurt feelings or social ostracization or even their own lives. And I have a Christmas hat here. I have a Christmas hat, and on it is a picture of Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine was an American revolutionary, an anti-monarchist, and he was also a debunker of Christianity. Now, one of the reasons I get along so well with these Thai dissidents is because they will not go along with the bullshit. They don't care. They've got to, shout out the warning that something is going drastically wrong, even if it bursts everyone's fairy tale bubble. Okay, one of the things that Ahjarn Surachai did to get himself into trouble and also to burst everybody's bubble was, this is a little bit hard to explain, but there's something called Eye-Opening Day in Thailand. October 13th is known as Eye-Opening Day, and I'll just read from this explanation I wrote a long time ago. For the past 10 years, October 13 has been known as Eye-Opening Day or Enlightenment Day among the red shirts. On October 13, 2008, Queen Surachai and Princess Chulabhorn attended the funeral of a woman whose name I won't be able to pronounce, who had been killed by police while protesting on the side of ultra-royalist yellow shirts. And she said some approving words about her. So she attended the funeral, and now I've got 2 dogs joining me. Come on. So the Queen attended the funeral of a ultra-royalist yellow shirt. And you would think that that would not be such a big deal, but it was a big deal because, watch out, I got many dogs. Here's my dogs. But it was a big deal because people had always assumed that the royalty would not take sides in political matters. And they thought that the yellow shirts, who were ultra-royalists, were protesting without the consent of the royalty. And when the Queen came to the funeral of this protester who had been shot during a protest, the red shirts, and many of them felt very, very insulted and very disappointed, actually, because they had actually been royalists themselves, and they thought that the royalty was above politics. Now, this doesn't seem like a big deal, but it was a huge deal. And what Ahjarn Surachai went around doing was giving speeches in which he would hint that he wouldn't say it explicitly, but he would make hints that the monarchy was behind the troubles in Thailand. And so he would often hint at the fact that the Queen had been to this funeral, and he didn't even say it explicitly. He'd say something like, "You know who was at the funeral, the woman with the very red lips." So this is the kind of, criminal troublemaking that this person did, was just to point out that the Queen attended a funeral. And for this, for speeches like this, he and Somyat spent many years in jail for lèse majesty. And in fact, Ahjarn Surachai had spent many years in jail since the 70s, and has spent much of his life in jail. So he's somebody that you can't shut down very easily, and that's why we're very worried that he has been kidnapped. Now, when he was kidnapped, it was not stated in the letter here, but apparently the truck or car that took him away had a Thai license plate. So it seems very similar to the case of DJ Zunho, who was in the summer of 2016, was grabbed off his motorcycle, and only one shoe was left behind. And people saw the people in camouflage grab him off the motorcycle, and that's the last anyone's ever heard of him. And I didn't know him, but one of my very best friends was very good friends with him, texted him all the time, never heard from him since. So this is a very, very bad thing. And there was another dissident the following year, Manoy, who is also almost certainly dead. And he was also similarly kidnapped by a hit squad with tasers, and they were speaking Thai. We don't know exactly how this happens, whether it's ordered directly from the Thai government, whether they just put a price on their head, like Ahjarn Surachai mentioned that he thought there was a $300,000 price on his head, so then any vigilante could grab him. I know that all of the dissidents I know in Thailand, the ones who are just putting on shows about democracy and calling for elections, like by wearing a shirt like this one, like he was wearing in recent days, that puts their lives in danger. And so we're just going to make a big fucking deal out of it every single time they try to kill another dissident in Thailand. And Christmas, whatever, they like to do it before Christmas. That's when they threw Pai Dao Din in jail. They think the world's going to be distracted, and none of us have time for this. None of us have time for it. But believe me, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. 2 days from now, I do have a whole lot of time. And I'm going to be shouting about it to all the international organizations and writing to the newspapers. And this is a Jamal Khashoggi type situation. And the world is suddenly tired of ignoring the Jamal Khashoggi type situations. Jamal Khashoggi, in fact, had been on his social media, I forget what kind he was using, discussing anti-monarchist things, and that is probably the reason that he was hacked to death. It's disgusting. And the royalty, it kind of takes the magic off the royalty to see this kind of stuff happening. As if there was ever any magic around royalty for us Americans. There isn't. It's like a Ku Klux Klan, where they just attack people who won't accept their place in the order of things as being subservient and oppressed. Just recently, the Rap Against Dictatorship artists wrote a song that everyone likes so much, and got a lot of open windows here. And the Rap Against Dictatorship song is extremely relevant, if I could find it. It's A country where the point of the gun slowly aims at the Adam's apple. A country where they say you have freedom, but there is no right to choose. A country where you can't swear even though it's on the tip of your tongue. A country where whatever you do, a leader watches and intrudes. A country where sovereignty has been grabbed away by mean, low-down people. A country where you must choose whether to keep the truth in your mouth or have a gun in your mouth. The country where the king takes pawn in chess, where masses of bad guys shoot at the people. That's what my country has. That's what my country has. That's the translation of one of the verses in the Rap Against Dictatorship song. And everything they say in that song is true. And they just keep doing it over and over. I don't have a lot of time, but I want you to know that we're not ignoring this, and we'll be back on it right after Christmas. And we're calling for the release of Ahjarn Surachai and his 2 associates. And we hope that they will be safe and returned, just like the wife and son of Sanam Luang recently. And I wish you a Merry Christmas.